My name is Evelyn. Right after high school, I started working at an American restaurant where I had been part time since my student days. I have a younger sister named Isabella, who's 5 years my junior. Contrary to my plain looks and shy nature, my flashy loving sister always stands out and is constantly surrounded by friends. Our parents have doted on her since she was little. You're an adult now, working and all. Time to move out and send some money home every month. I didn't have any particular dreams or goals. I just continued working at the American restaurant where I had my part-time job during high school. The moment I landed this job, my mom said, making it clear I had no choice but to leave home. I rented a cheap apartment near the restaurant. I work from opening to closing, and thankfully I get 2 meals a day. It's the same waiting and cashier work I have been doing, so there wasn't any new skill to pick up. No issues here. But for me, the real problem always came from home. Right after high school, the first challenge appeared. Hello, Evelyn. Isabella wants to become a hairstylist. To do that, we need to send her to a beauty school. You understand we need money now, right? Mom called out of the blue with that request. My dad's a salaried employee at a small medium enterprise. Mom's a housewife. She could work to ease the family's finances, but she seems not to want to. Maybe she just doesn't want to work. Suddenly, Isabella wants to be a hairstylist, which means attending beauty or barber school. With just my dad's salary, it's tight, so they're now asking for more money from me. Although I'm full-time, my job is not much different from the part-time gig I had. I can't expect a sudden hike in my paycheck, but given my position as the eldest daughter, I decided to send what I could afford after deducting my expenses. Less than a week after my first remittance, I got a call from Mom. I wasn't expecting gratitude for the money, but what she said next caught me off guard. Hey, this isn't enough. What are you thinking? Even if she asked what I'm thinking, I have been sending more than half my salary back home. Mom, do you know how much I earned before saying that enough already? I had never stood up to my mom before, but this time I finally did. Without thinking, I hung up the phone. Still, my sister Isabella graduates from her vocational school in 2 years. I have to support her, that's what I thought, and I have been consistently sending money home. Evelyn, I haven't received this month's money. When will you deposit it? Huh? But isn't Isabella graduating and starting work as a hairstylist? I shouldn't need to send you money anymore, right? What are you talking about? She's still an apprentice. So she earns little. You need to keep sending money. I too started as an apprentice, I almost retorted but held back. Right, in my case, I've been working since high school. My apprenticeship ended long ago. But now, both of us daughters live on our own working. Why am I still sending money home? It's as if my mom read my mind. Do you know how much it took to raise you? The reason you're sending money is to pay back all the money we spent on you. Understand that? She always says what she wants, doesn't listen to my side, and then hangs up. Classic mom. After the call, I think calmly. How much did it cost to raise me? I wish there was an itemized bill to explain. Growing up, I didn't want much. I was modest and didn't like standing out. Compared to my sister Evelyn, I must have cost less. She always wanted everything she saw. She would throw tantrums until our parents bought it. In the end, when she would cry loudly and not stop, they would buy her anything she wanted. Is this gratitude for raising me? Even if my head and heart didn't agree, saying it aloud made it feel a bit better. Before I realized, not just 10 years but 20 years. I had been sending money home every month. On one particular day, my sister and I decided to meet up and have a meal together after a long time. Long time no see, big sis. If my sister hadn't introduced herself, I might not have recognized her. She looked even more polished and youthful than before. You look good. How's work? Everything smooth? Smooth? It's going spectacularly well. That's great to hear. By the way, Isabella, what? Oh, never mind. You know, sis, you've always been like that. She was absolutely right. I always hesitated when it mattered most. Maybe that's why I missed out on some romantic opportunities. Even though our personalities were polar opposites, it didn't mean we didn't get along. In fact, I always envied my sister's innocence and brightness, and often sought her advice. So what is it? What's bothering you, sis? Her big sparkling eyes widened with curiosity. Taking a deep breath, I asked the question I had been avoiding. Hey Isabella, how much money are you sending back home? Huh? I haven't sent any. None at all? I couldn't help but share with my sister about the money I have been sending in a recent phone call I had with our mom. Listen to this. The other day, I asked Mom if it's okay to stop sending money soon. Do you know what she said? What did she say? That she doesn't remember being helped by a mere $1,000. As I recounted my experiences since leaving home, I felt a surge of anger mixed with sadness. My sister did nothing wrong. Why is Mom so hard on me? I've been sending money home for 20 years, only to get yelled at in return? Will I continue to support my parents like this forever? My sister, sensing my emotions, softly suggested, "Why not just stop sending money?" You think that might work? You're too serious, sis. That's why I think Dad and Mom take advantage of you. Why not just play dumb and ignore them? Ignore them? Huh? Yeah, just ignore. Oh, sis, don't start with that weird lingo now. I'm glad I talked to my sister about it, so I decided to stop sending money the next month. Then another month passed and yet another. Throughout this time, I was constantly on edge expecting a call from my parents, especially Mom, but it never came. Is this the calm before the storm? The silence was, in a way, even more unsettling. And just like that, 3 months without sending any money had passed. Enough is enough. Where's the money? Why haven't you been sending it? Do you even know what it's for? It's payback for raising you all these years, isn't it, you ungrateful daughter? On a Sunday morning, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find my parents standing there with determined expressions. I was taken aback, my face turning pale. At the same time, I was searching for words to fire back. Well, if we're on this topic, why hasn't Isabella, who has always cost more than me, contributed anything? What? How did you? You both seem to think that Isabella and I don't get along. But when we dined together recently, I asked her how much she sends back home. Turns out, Mom just didn't want to work and was relying solely on me, who didn't have many expenses. You complain constantly, yet rely on your daughter? That's pretty low. I won't send any more money. Figure out your finances together. If you're short, maybe Mom should consider working and get a taste of how hard it can be. Serves you right. How dare you speak to your parents like that? Remember this. Let's go. With that, my mom took my dad's hand and briskly walked away. This was the first time standing up to my parents. I had always just gone along with whatever they said. It felt good to finally voice my feelings when they confronted me. Looking back, maybe I went a bit too far. But maybe that's just what Mom needed. However, something still didn't sit right with me. What did Mom mean when she said she didn't owe me for a mere $1,000? It's been 20 years since I graduated high school and I've been sending money consistently every month. What could she possibly mean by a mere $1,000? I always thought I was sending home more money with an extra zero. But the remittances to my family home stopped and I didn't get any more calls from Mom asking for money. That made me worried about my parents, so this summer I decided to invite my sister Isabella and head back home. We're back!
Oh, Isabella and Evelyn too.
Where's Mom?
She just left for some shopping.
Well, we need to pay our respects to our ancestors. Saying that, I went into the room where family photos and mementos are displayed and I bowed in front of my late grandparents' pictures. While paying my respect, my eyes casually drifted to an open cabinet above and I spotted a plastic card. What's this? A cash card? It was, unmistakably, the ATM card of the account I had been sending money to for 20 years. Why is this here?
You found it. Let's keep this a secret from Mom.
Saying that, Dad awkwardly scratched both his head and his behind. Turns out, Dad wasn't getting enough allowance from Mom. He knew Mom hid the ATM card behind the family photos, so he had been secretly withdrawing money for himself. I had always thought Mom was stingy, but it turns out she was pretty careless with her banking and ATM cards. She checked the balance after a long time and found only about $1,000. She must have thought I wasn't sending much at all.
You see, Mom's surprisingly lax with her banking cards. She hides important things behind the family photos like this, so I discreetly withdrew some cash with the card.
Sneaky Dad pulling out cash with his card behind Mom's back. But if Mom had regularly checked the balance, she would have noticed the relation between my deposits and Dad's withdrawals. I wouldn't have had to bear such snide remarks from her. Dad, I feel bad for him too. After all, I have been giving a fixed amount every month for 20 years. Now, I finally understand why Mom told me she doesn't recall being helped with just $1,000.
I'm sorry, Evelyn, truly, as you can see.
Saying this, Dad sat down in the room filled with photographs and memorabilia hanging his head. I can't forgive him easily, but in a way, he's a victim, thanks to Mom. You don't need to apologize so much, just admit you have been withdrawing regularly from the account. Maybe I inherited Dad's inability to speak his mind, something I've noticed since I was little. It's so strange.
What is?
Oh, nothing, just talking to myself. To me, Mom is toxic. To Dad, she's an unsupportive spouse. I wish Dad would leave her. Then she would be forced to work and would finally understand the value of money and hard work. She would never say anything about being helped with just $1,000 ever again. I secretly wished they would divorce. But it seems Dad has no intention of divorcing Mom. Surprisingly, he seems to enjoy being whipped. My sister once said, seriously, Dad seems to enjoy being dominated. She might be onto something, but I certainly don't enjoy it. Oh, denying it makes it seem even more likely. Considering I've tolerated all of Mom's unreasonable demands till now, maybe there's some truth to what my sister says. Then, Mom returned from shopping. Oh, you're back, Isabella. And Evelyn, are you apologizing for not sending money all this time? Mom, unaware of everything, was as talkative as usual. I just stared at Dad's face. Now was the time to tell the truth. Please, Dad, tell Mom the truth.
Well...
Waiting for Mom to stop speaking, Dad began. From the place where photos and memorabilia were displayed, he pulled out that ATM card.
All this time, I've been hiding something from you. I've been taking from Evelyn's crucial remittances when my allowance wasn't enough.
Without a word, Mom alternately looked at Dad and me. That's the truth, Mom. Did you ever keep track of how much I sent every month for 20 years? If you had checked the balance properly, you would have noticed immediately. Anyway, both of you, please review the household budget for your old age from now on. I have paid more than enough for the cost of raising me, so I won't send any more money. My sister clapped her hands beside me. Our parents, realizing the mistakes they made, especially when faced with your younger daughter's reaction, seemed to recognize your past actions were wrong. This incident deepened the bond between us sisters more than ever. Thanks to my sister, I became more assertive. She's a great advisor. From now on, I want to use the money I saved from not sending it to home to treat myself. I might not go as flashy as my sister in clothes or makeup, but I would like to enjoy tastier food, travel more, and reward myself.